my very clear view of freedom and liberation came that morning when I stood in this doorway of that abandoned factory. And I saw a car coming down the hill. And the reality of that came when I saw the white star on its hood and not the swastika. And there were two men in that car. One jumped out.
I saw some skeletal figures trying to get some water from a hand pump, but over on the other side, leaning next to against the wall, next to the entrance of the building, I saw a girl standing, and I decided to walk up to her.
I remember that aura of that awe, of the disbelief in daylight, to really see someone who fought for our freedom, for my ideals. And he looked like God to me.
And I asked her in German and in English whether she spoke either language, and she answered me in German.
And I knew what I had to say. And I said to him, "We are Jewish, you know." For a very long time, at least to me it seemed very long, but he didn't answer me. And then his own voice betrayed his emotion. He was wearing dark glasses, I couldn't see his eyes. He said, "So am I."
I asked about her companions.
He said, "May I see the other ladies?" A form of address we hadn't heard for 6 years. I told him most of the girls were inside, they were too ill to walk, and he said to me, "Won't you come with me?" I didn't know what he meant. So he held the door open for me and let me precede him. And that was the moment of restoration, of humanity, of humaneness, of dignity, of freedom.
We went inside the factory. It was an indescribable scene. There were women scattered over the floor on scraps of straw, some of them quite obviously with a mark of death on their faces.
I took him to see my friends.
The girl who was my guide made sort of a sweeping gesture over this scene of devastation and said the following words: "Noble be man, merciful and good." And I could hardly believe that she was able to summon a poem by the German poet Goethe, which is called The Divine, at such a moment. And there was nothing that she could have said that would have underscored the grim irony of the situation better than what she did.
And this first young American of Liberation Day is now my husband. He opened not only the door for me, but the door to my life and my future.
During the final days of World War II, in the hills of southern Czechoslovakia, U.S. Army cameras recorded the aftermath of a little-known Nazi atrocity. American troops had come upon the bodies of young women who had been killed during the final stages of a 3-month death march. Of the 2,000 women who began the march, fewer than 150 would survive to be liberated. For each of the survivors, liberation would mark the end of a 6-year nightmare through ghettos, deportations, slave labor camps, and forced marches. These are the memories of one of those survivors.
I was the only one from my family who survived. only one of my dearest friends.
In August 1939, 15-year-old Gerda Weissman returned from a summer vacation to her family home in Bielsko, Poland. She was to begin school within a few weeks. On September 1st, World War II began with the German invasion of Poland. Within hours, the peaceful city of Bielsko was overtaken by the German army.
I remember we were sitting at breakfast. It was a beautiful, beautiful autumn day. Very bright, very golden. We were all together, and it seems all activity outside has stopped as well. And it was sort of a very, very special, memorable day because it had no intrusion whatsoever. Then in the evening, a great deal of activity started. There was shooting, there were planes, there were some explosions. We went to the basement. My cat was outside, and my brother went out to let the cat in. The cat was meowing. And he came back with a hole in his trouser. And he said there was shooting from the rooftops. And the Germans were coming. And at that moment, we had an incredible roar. And a motorcycle came down the street, and it had a sidecar, and then there were people in different uniforms. You know, our army, the Polish army, had sort of beige khaki uniforms, and those uniforms were green. And people were shouting, you know, Heil Hitler, long live the Führer, and people were waving flags with swastikas. There was that feeling of complete betrayal. Suddenly you were home, and you were not home anymore.
And the Oscar for Best Documentary Short Subject is awarded to... And the Oscar goes to One Survivor Remembers, Carrie Antholis.
Carrie, Sheila, Sandy, Michael, my beloved husband and my family. I've been in a place for 6 incredible years where winning meant a crust of bread and to live another day. Since the blessed day of my liberation, I have asked the question, why am I here? I am no better. In my mind's eye, I see those years and days, and those who never lived to see the magic of a boring evening at home. On their behalf, I wish to thank you for honoring their memory. And you cannot do it in any better way than when you return to your homes tonight to realize that each of you who know the joy of freedom are winners. Thank you on their behalf with all my heart.